Hello and welcome back to OT, the podcast. We're here to talk about watches, time, and how to spend it. I'm Andy Green.
I'm Felix Schultz. It's good to see your face, Andy. It's been a hot second.
I know. I went away. I went to Japan for a few weeks and then got sick, and before we knew it...
And then I got sick.
Yeah. I shouldn't have come too close. It was a month, and here we are. We're back.
We're back, and we've got lots to talk about, which is the benefit of some time away. We've had some local and international horological adventures, which we will get to, and of course there have been several new releases and watch-related happenings worth talking about.
Yeah.
Where do you want to kick it off with, Andy?
I mean, let's talk about my trip. Let's go to Japan. This is my second trip to Japan. I did a little bit of watch
the rising
stuff.
sun.
Yeah, happened to land in Tokyo the week of the Zenith GFJ Naoya Hida collaboration launch, which sort of surprised everyone that hadn't bought one or seen the press release before the day, which was pretty cool. They'd made a big deal about it.
Did you get one?
They were actually all pre-sold before the launch.
Classic move.
Classic move.
There were only 10, weren't they? That was a pretty tight drop.
Yeah, I can tell you about this. So there's 10 of them. The plan is to sort of keep doing the collaborations. So there's another one, I think, in around November with an American watchmaker, and then they're sort of planning the next few years out. And again, they're going to do sort of 10 pieces at a time, really to sort of expand the Zenith customer base to people that maybe aren't buying Zenith, that are sort of big into these other sort of independent, really cool makers.
So sort of, if I'm understanding you correct, Zenith is trying to elevate GFJ specifically into that, upper tier of collector caliber worthy.
Yeah.
Because the GFJ is a pretty serious watch.
It's a pretty serious watch. I mean, it's six figures. If you get the bracelet, I think they're around 200K.
7 figures.
No, I think they actually, you know what? They have not changed the bracelet price with the price of precious metals, interestingly. So I don't know maybe they made them.
I think there's a lot of, it's the labour of the bracelet rather than the metal value in some
but they
ways.
haven't changed the price, is my point.
Sure.
Yeah, which I would have thought gold's gone up so much that they would have, but no, you can still add a bracelet for around like 55,000
francs. By the way, is this you? Is the hot take here, Andy, saying the 55,000 franc bracelet is a good deal?
I think it is, and I don't think that they've realised they need to increase the price, maybe. But yeah, it's interesting because I think they only make 200 GFJs per year. They're only kind of geared up to make 200 135 calibers, which is the caliber in this. Some interesting things about this release. Obviously, a lot of back and forth. So the dial and hands were made in Japan and by Hida and the crew. Lots of engraving and beautiful work there. They crossed a point where they had to kind of come to the decision of what do we put on the dial? Where was this watch made?
Interesting.
Yeah, so it says made in Switzerland on the dial, which the dial was made in Japan. So that's quite interesting. But there was a lot of parts being sent back and forth. And it's sort of interesting...
Made in Switzerland means as long as the added value of 50% or plus or whatever is... So
which arguably, I mean, that dial, that name on that dial...
I think it would have been cool to be like made in Switzerland, assembled in Japan. That doesn't obviously work.
Which also wouldn't have worked. Yeah. But what a new conundrum for the watch industry. Which
designed in California.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but they landed on Zenith's hometown, which I think is quite interesting. And the first time, I guess, Hida's not put made in Japan on there, which for Japanese-made products, they're very proud of sort of stamping that on things. So that would have been an interesting compromise to come to, and I guess a problem for them to solve. But really cool. I mean, there's some interesting stuff on there. So they engrave out the back of the hands to make them lighter, so that, which is cool. They're just honestly beautiful watches. The 10 people that bought them all had like a lunch the following day in I think it was Osaka or Kyoto, and they all got to meet each other and hang out. They probably all knew each other, so I think that was pretty cool. It definitely caused a splash, but it makes me wonder what the plan is, because they're really limited on the amount of GFJ pieces they make per year. Like they can't make heaps and heaps more movements, so it's like 200 cap. You're going to allocate 10 or 30%, 10 or 20%, to these collaborations, and you're already probably selling out the GFJ. Where do people go after that?
Do you reckon they're selling them out?
I think that they probably are. I mean, 200, I think that's probably all the Zenith watches that are selling these days. Like it's the the big stuff. Because the GFJ is a great watch. Like, it's awesome.
They were some of I saw. I don't know. Did you see them in Geneva?
Yeah. Yeah.
The stone dial GFJ stuff. Beautiful. That was some of the nicest watches I think I saw there. Just in a
last year's as well. You know, platinum. Really, really nice. It's just it's a different pay grade to you and I. And so I wonder when you make a splash like this, you know, you want to direct them, and everyone was talking about it, right? Because everyone wants a Hida watch. Everyone, you know, thought, wow, this watch is really lovely, but and even people with the budget to buy it are kind of getting told, oh no, this is sold out already. So I would have had something else for them to buy or to kind of go into, or another purpose to use the noise, but I don't know. It's cool. It was cool watch, cool execution. Hang out with Masa, who's Hodinki Japan over there as well, which was cool. What else did I do? I saw a few Japanese brands. I saw the Kurono Tokyo boutique or saloon. They're all called saloons over there.
Love a salon or saloon?
I don't know.
Potato.
Salon. Yeah, salon probably. It's probably salon in Europe and saloon in Tokyo. I saw a few other local brands. Kurono Tokyo has a spot in Omotesando Hills, which is sort of like tucked away. And the first time I went in there, it's cool to see all the watches, and the one that the one that you could open that was like the oyster thing, and the little handheld. Can't remember what it's called. That was pretty cool, but no watches for sale. So I was kind of going, oh,
was that the one you sent me some wild photos? I think it was there of like the saloon, I guess, of like how many people were just in it. Can you tell me that?
Well,
okay. We'll get there.
Okay, so we'll get there. So Kurono had nothing for sale because all their watches pre-order, they're all sold out, and they sell out instantly. Here's the thing I learned about this trip to Japan. If you go over to Japan and get in front of these people, it makes it infinitely easier to buy watches or pre-order.
Yeah, right.
So Hida, face-to-face, it's a whole different thing. But Kurono as well, they had the pre-order for that malachite dial they were doing, and they said online it was, you know, there's 2 windows that are going to open up. We've got an allocation, and then they sell, right? If you're in Japan or could get to Tokyo to visit them in person, you could place a pre-order in the week up to that actual online launch. So I was in the boutique and they said, oh, you can pre-order it now, you just pay a full deposit. And I thought, great. Well, yeah, of course. And I did get one. So that's coming. And I found that very interesting because my perception was always like, if you don't get the online thing, you can't do it and there's no point. But hey, there is a point going to the boutiques, and it's and they keep stuff aside as well.
I mean, that's probably the same. I mean, this is, I'm sure, a very naive thing of me that I don't engage in, you know, pre-orders. I'm sure it happens all over the shop.
Yeah. Well, that's the vibe I was getting. It's like actually they do keep things back and keep opportunities back.
There's a secret list.
Well, they just make the effort to come and visit them.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
So that was pretty cool. Yes, I did. I got the malachite green dial because it is very cool. Kuoe. I think it's Kuoe. Kuoe. Kuoe.
Yep.
Which is the Kyoto brand. So that was the one that I sent you a video of, a very crowded, like standing room only. And these guys do $400 to $600 is sort of the price point. You know, you kind of very heavily customize the watches as well. So you can like pick this strap, pick this bracelet, and everything's on like a bench, and you can kind of grab straps and watch heads and put them together. I think I was on like a Friday, and you could not get into the boutique. There was like 12 staff working there, and it was just mayhem. But and honestly, it was quite surreal. And then I sort of realized, well, this is probably the perfect souvenir for someone going to a trip, going to a new country, wanting to grab something to take home. It's made there, you know, it's made in Japan, it's, you know, movement, whatever. And then I guess it's assembled and made there. $400 to $500. You get something, you can wear it. It's not a huge amount of money.
You're not waiting for it?
You're not waiting for it, you just get it. Not a huge amount of money for like a really good souvenir, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
And that's their model. Like that is their customer is tourists.
So my question, this is what I want to ask. A lot of people in there. From the video, it looked like there was a fairly even mix of like non-Japanese people and Japanese people. From what you could see, were these people that were into watches, or was it like people that have heard this is a good thing to, you know?
It was a bit of both. Like I think it was like you would go there because you're like, oh yeah, it's a Japanese micro brand. I'll check it out if I walk past.
Yeah.
I'm interested. There was a few other sort of, I guess, competitors that popped up that I hadn't heard of. So there was one called, I think, Knot, Knot, and one or two others that were sort of very much doing the same thing, which was, made in Japan, military style watch of some sort. You can get it all the same sort of price point, and really pushing like made in Japan as a bit of a novelty. So it before I went into the boutique and sort of experienced it and the whole vibe, I would have thought this isn't so much a touristy thing, but my read is it's a bit of a tourist sort of focused product. Watch people would sort of go out and check it out, and maybe they buy them because, again, same thing. If you're a watch guy and you want a cool token of your trip.
I mean, I like watches. I'm in Japan. I buy a Japanese watch.
Well, that's that, or you go get a Seiko, JDM.
Or you get one of those Lawson convenience store watches.
Well, that was the other thing. So I happened to be there at the time that the Lawson convenience store Casio watch was going crazy, and I thought, I'll go check one out.
Didn't get any?
No, you could not find them anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
It was just insane. So that was also interesting. What else I checked out? Yeah, I did go to the Seiko boutique. Seiko's got like a dream house or dream store, something like that boutique, which is like 4 stories of like the different sort of houses within Seiko. So Prospects and was it Lunar and Elegance and all those different sort of
all the different universes,
which there are many. And
Presage,
beautiful.
Prospects, Elegance maybe, and something
Elegance
else.
is one. Yeah, I mean, there's heaps, and then there's all these different Japan only releases, which are always cool. And you're like, I can only get this here. Maybe I'll get it. And then plenty of sort of pre-owned stores as well along the way. Went to Nakano Broadway to Jack Road, the famous store there, and it was sort of interesting to see. I mean, the internet has very much hit it, and that felt also like a tourist destination for watch guys.
Right.
It was like heavy, watch guys rolling through, looking at stuff.
Yeah. Was it good shopping? Like, was there stuff there that you thought was? Hang on. Let me rephrase it.
Yeah.
Would you buy if you were looking for something accessible? Like if you were saying, a nice secondhand watch. I think I asked you about a few things. Would you buy it there? Or would you buy it on the internet?
I mean, if you buy it there, the beauty is you can get the tax until November. You can get the tax back as you leave the airport, or you don't get charged tax.
Yep.
The exchange rate is very favourable for Australians and most of the world right now. So it tends to work out. I mean, it's always going to work out better paying no tax and no shipping there.
Yeah.
The problem you'll face is it's sort of similar to Hong Kong, where 85% of the stock that you see in the secondhand stores is all going to be very, very similar. And then there'll be like 15% that's a bit different.
Yeah.
And so unless you are really, really looking for something, so if you had, I want to find 2 or 3 models, you'd probably hunt them down, get a decent price and get really good condition. But if you were to just kind of walk through and go, I'm just going to see what jumps out at me, well, then you're going to see... I don't
really want a Datejust or a Speedy or...
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of, Kermits and Daytonas and just a bunch of stuff. And, I mean, when you get to the brass tacks, if you did want to try and negotiate or figure something out, you might get a decent deal. But for the most part, it's better to go in with I think, a clear plan. You will find better deals with, like, pawn shops seem to be pretty good over there. Like, randomly helped a mate buy Nomos that, he'd been hunting for ages and ages since, 2022, and a pawn shop somewhere an hour out of Tokyo happened to have one, and, we made it happen.
You did the physical inspection and...
Got it sent out.
Was it an oddball Nomos, like one of their limited editions?
Club Campus with Pink Dial.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
Nice.
That of all places. So it is I feel like it's the sort of place where you'll find the thing you're looking for in reasonable condition for a reasonable price.
Oh, that's cool. That's what about the on the wrist, like general, was there good watch spotting in Japan from your, just spotting the thing sick?
Nothing
you sent me a good one.
No, yeah, well, probably the best was I sent you, which was a guy rolling out of Hermes with like 3 Hermes bags on his Ramoa and a very nicely tailored shirt, and he had the Cubitus on with the matching lapel pin from Patek. That was pretty. That was a whole thing. a lot of tourists were wearing sort of, Rolexes and that sort of thing. I think I saw a family of Hublots.
Oh, nice. They do come in families.
They come in families, yeah.
The bigger bang, the medium bang, and the little bang.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just right bang. The Goldilocks bang. But yeah, it's always good. Good food, good people. Check it out. But yeah, new releases, Felix. Things that have been happening lately. Talk to me.
So, there's some new releases. I think it is in our best interests to talk a little bit about a watch that we did a reel on recently, the Raymond Weil A.R.T, which I think is one of the watches that surprised me the most when I saw it in Geneva, and pleasantly surprised, I will say as well. It's Raymond Weil's entree into the world of integrated steel sports watches, and it's a watch that walks quite a delicate line.
Well, you did a little video on it that we can link up as well.
I've got a question for you though, Andy. What does ART stand for?
Art, refinement, and timekeeping.
Of course, the Holy Trinity that Raymond Weil cares about. And Holy Trinity is an interesting segue into this. I think it's something that, so we posted the reel, there was a bit of people, unsurprisingly, talking about the design of this watch, because it looks a lot like a lot of 1970s sports integrated watches. It does not have any pedigree. There's no secret Raymond Weil designs from the 1970s that I'm aware of that they've drawn inspiration from. But I kind of find it refreshing, and what I sort of said in the social media reel is, at this point, I think we can just acknowledge that integrated sports is a trope, is a genre, just as much as dive watch, dress watch, chronograph, whatever it is. It's not defined by function, but it is a defined look.
Yes.
But, and I'm not placing it against, it's not an Ingenue, it's not a Royal Oak, it's not an Overseas, it's a, $3,000 Australian watch. It's clearly not,
competing with them.
Going to compete with that. But what it does compete against, and compete against really, really well, I think, is your sort of those more micro integrated ones. So, maybe they're a bit cheaper. Maybe it's I said micro, but I will now refer to the Tissot PRX.
Yep.
That's another sort of comparison set. Like, it's more expensive than that, but there's also, lots of other.
It's infinitely better than the PRX quality wise.
And that's it. I think, it's a Salida movement inside, which it's fine. It's, it's the movement you want in a watch at that price. What really gets me and what I really liked about it is how it wears on the wrist and how the bracelet feels. It's a very pleasant and well thought out product.
It's a really good watch for $3,000. And I think I always sort of, we have a lot of time to think about it as well. And I always think, people complain when a really nice watch comes out and it's too expensive. And they complain when someone else sees that opportunity and does it at a, arguably affordable price point, because it wasn't the brand that released the watch that they like. It's not the brand that they want doing it, or it's not their release. And so I find that interesting that it sort of is clearly a very big gap in the market and a great commercial opportunity for Raymond Weil to do. Yeah. And so they're sort of giving people what they want. Okay, they didn't. Maybe no one asked Raymond Weil, but still, it's a bit of a contradiction.
And the other thing they've done really well is they've paired it back where it so they haven't. It's easy when you do these sort of things. Like, there's a few other examples that I can sort of name, in this space that put too much on and
too 1-to-1, yeah.
Or not too 1-to-1, or they try and differentiate it too much, and they're like, we're playing to our, maybe the Bremont. Terra Nova is a great example. That's the Terra Nova. They're sort of integrated number. It's sort of field watches. They sort of egg it a bit too much for the design. Whereas this, it's simple logo, very clean dial. The design is quite restrained, and they haven't tried to push anything too much in either direction. They're not like super heritage. They're not copying, the tapisserie. They're not putting dial, stripes on it. They're not futzing around with the bezel too much and putting screws or whatever in it. But they've just gone, this is what people, want. They want this integrated shape. The size at 38 is really, really good. I think it's not too big. It's just a really, it's a solid watch. And if Raymond Weil can keep not messing it up too much, I'm sure they'll do a chronograph, but not sort of, going too funky with the dials or putting too much extra stuff in there. I just think it's a solid proposition for a price where there's not much there.
There is not much happening under 5K these days, Aussie. There's really not much.
And it's it's that old analogy of that first good watch, and this is that. I think this is a great first watch for someone that wants that sort of style.
Yeah, I'm not offended by it. I don't know. I'm not offended by it at all. We saw it in Geneva. We talked to other brands that have watches that look similar, and they were just kind of go, yeah, it's pretty smart. It's pretty good.
And I think this is where, Raymond Weil, 50 years of watchmaking, they've got the factories, they've got that sort of experience that if you're designing this and outsourcing the production, as a lot of other brands will be doing, there's that dissonance there. And I think that's what you get for that money, and is a bit of that, it sounds trite, but watchmaking experience and expertise.
Okay, and so maybe you refine it a little bit more, put some micro adjustment on the clasp and put an in-house movement in it. Does that mean you can 5x the price? 6x the price? Is that?
Do you want it? Is it 6x the watch?
Well, a lot of the big competitors out there, that's the thing that separates it, spec v spec. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty into it. I think that the blue dial is probably
Sage, Andy.
Sage. Yeah, sorry, Sage. It's probably my pick, but
yep, we'll link it up. Check it out.
Sorry, there's a blue dial and a Sage. Sage is the grey.
Oh, my mistake. So I like the Sage. Maybe this is my
Sage,
own.
Sage, which is greyish.
Sure.
And then the blue, and then there's a black, and then there's also two-tone models.
Also, shout out to them for being sticking to their guns and going with yellow gold PVD on the two-tone rather than rose gold.
Yeah, it's very cool. And then there's also a smaller 30mm.
Yes, the more ladiesy ones, which are quartz calibers, cheaper. There's diamond options there. For me, though, the 38. I mean, for men or women, that's I think the strongest proposition.
All about it. I like it. I like what Raymond will have been doing.
I got another interesting sage blue green dial for you, Andy.
Oh yes,
Chopard.
Ooh, what's been happening with Chopard? Our friends at Chopard
have dropped another Miglia collection, which I think is one of those watches that I have a soft spot for. It's so they sponsor the Mille, which is like a heritage race in Italy on old cars on old cobbled streets, which must be an experience to race. The most beautiful race in the world, as they call it, and they've dropped a couple of new iterations this year. The one that stood out to me is the GTS Power Control Grigio Blue. It's a very nice dial. That's the main thing I want to say about it. Have you pulled it up, Andy?
I do, and it's quite an interesting, kind of like a petrol blue vibe.
Great.
Yeah, well, it's a petrol blue.
Is it? I reckon if we looked up what grigio blue means in Italian, it's got to be petrol blue, isn't it?
Let's have a look. Grigio.
Who knew automotive tie-in releases petrol blue dial watch?
Grey blue is Italian for grey blue.
I think petrol blue. I'd call it petrol blue.
Yeah, I'd call it a petrol. Hey, either way, it's sort of like matte and a little bit textured, which I think gives some nice contrast to the watch. I too have a soft spot for this Chopard Mille. It's what were you saying?
I was about to say there's two things in particular I like about this one. One, and this is a change, it does not, as stock, come with, as it used to, the tyre pattern rubber strap on the outside.
Only the inside.
Which I think is both comfortable and a nice little design nod to people that love their tyre rubber
let's
straps.
Pull it back a bit. We get it, automotive. It does have a power reserve on the dial, which is
second thing I really like about it. I really like that power reserve. It's a big power reserve. It's not, hours. It's full to empty. And it's actually been holistically integrated into the dial. So It's not like they've just stamped a little window out. They've gone, we've got to design this power reserve so that it takes up the whole, between 8 and 10. It's all power reserve, baby, which I think is the right way to do it. If you got to do it properly.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
I kind of like it too, Andy. I don't know. I'm not going to... let me pull up the Australian
Limited
things.
to 250 pieces.
That's about right.
It's going to be priced about 10K, 12K?
Or, do you want to guess?
I've got it in front of me. 12.9. Hey, not bad.
Yeah, good guess, Andy.
43 millimeters, lucent steel, which is their ethical recycled, 90% recycled steel, something
Got
like
a little
that.
bezel. It's just a nice watch. We want to keep rolling with interesting blue-green dials, Andy. I've got a third one.
Tell me.
Atelier Wen.
Oh.
Boom. And we're back on integrated now.
Okay, here we go.
This is the Atelier Wen Perception V3, which I think is still in pre-ordering for a late 2026 drop. We saw this in Geneva as well. We saw a bunch of Atelier Wens. This is an impressive watch.
It's a beautiful green dial.
This is a new dial. This is a new blue bamboo green dial. Do you want to find out about some of the improvements in the V3 as opposed to the V2, Andy?
Tell me.
Okay. 2022, first Atelier Wen Perception. We're into the third gen now. The big thing here is the movement is it is not the Chinese-made Dandong. It is now the, I'm going to say Pegwane, EPM03, and it's a pretty impressive looking movement. It's got, just visually, I don't know about the specs because I don't really care about the specs, but it's very pretty, open, and it's an open case back. It's got like a venturine inlay on the bridges, and it sort of looks pretty. And I think for a watch at the price of, what is it, like, what, 4,000 or 5,000 euro sort of watches? Yeah, 4,000 euro watch. It's a solid looking upgrade from the previous, solid case backs or, 3/4 case backs that they had. The other thing specific to this colorway, so there's other colorways that have the regular, brush polish mix. This has a sort of a combination of micro frosting and sort of polished highlights, which is gives it a very interesting finish, a bit more like titanium-y sort of. It feels a bit more high end. But aside from that, I mean, everything that people love about the, Atelier Wen Perception is there, that genuine hand-turned guilloche dial, which is unusual at this price point, and lots of sort of, integrated details. Again, this is a watch that looks a great deal like classic 70s integrated steel sports watches, and I'm not mad at it.
These watches are really comfortable to wear as well. Like the bracelet is quite interesting, and there's a little bit more detail than you expect. My favourite thing is their sort of like the sliding clasp as you place it over your wrist. It sort of slides to give you a bit more room to get it on, and then slides back in. It's just
quick little on the wrist adjustment.
And it's not even an adjustment. The clasp just slides as you open the bracelet and stretch it, and then it slides back in on itself. It's sort of like a little self-folding situation
thing.
And it just makes it so much easier to put the watch on your wrist. Every year, Atelier Wen just do better and better and better products. They're always doing cool collaborations and doing cool stuff. I think this new movement is quite interesting. Pegwane. So it's a French manufacturer. Not that many people are publicly using their movements right now. I think Satori Billard and maybe that's Atelier Wen now, probably others. But it is, that's also kind of cool that there's a French movement manufacturer really sort of doing great stuff.
Yeah, and it is a bit of a change from their Chinese watchmaking thing. But I think that it's not. As far as I know, they're not planning to phase out the Dandong completely, but brands evolve and mature, and these things happen. So yeah, I just think it's it's a nice watch, and I was pleasantly surprised when I saw them. All three of the different colorways.
Really into it.
Yeah, they're pretty good. We've got some other watches to talk about. I don't know if we want to talk about them, or do we want to talk about some of the other stuff we've been doing, Andy?
What do you reckon? Whiz through?
Yeah, look, let's talk about it. We'll keep with the hot dials.
Yep.
Did you see this? This is the Ming and Shapiro watch, the 3706 Lightning.
Yeah, very cool.
Did you see it IRL? Or?
No, I didn't get to see this one IRL. Oh, I saw a printing from Ming while I was in Japan, and that was good.
I don't know what he had in his pockets.
Another time.
This is cool. Again, this is talking about great guilloche dials. This is such a segue heavy episode, Andy. This is a dial by J.N. Shapiro. Everything else by Ming, including that sort of wild poly color, heat treatment that they've done on a few things now. It's a sort of I think a unique guilloche pattern for this watch. Best way to get into a Shapiro, arguably. I just think it's cool. This is, obviously the two brands are connected through their alternative horological alliance, and it's good to see the alliance bearing fruit.
It's very cool. The first run sold out really quickly, and I believe that a couple of days ago, J.N. Shapiro put up a thing saying that they were going to accept pre-orders for a second run of production. So
yeah, cool. 6,000 Swiss francs. So that's a
tenth or something of what a chain costs. I don't know what a chain costs these days, but
they're all going up.
They're going up. There's a lot of interest in J.N. Shapiro.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
But really cool to see.
Yep, another one. This is a little out of the gate. I haven't spoken to you about this. I want to see what you think about it because I've got feelings. The TAG Heuer Monaco Speed 12 launched at the TAG Monaco Grand Prix. Are you across this?
I am.
What
the
do you
piston
think?
style kind of skeleton dial movement integrated vibe.
So it uses Louis Vuitton spin time. So
which is cool.
Each of those pistons move. The V12 are hours, and they'll turn, if it's 10 o'clock, you'll see the 10, 11, you'll see the 11.
It's pretty cool. Like that is pretty cool. I'm not like the biggest Monaco fan. I know they've refined it this year and it's meant to be more wearable. I mean, this is for the people that love Grand Prix and love TAG Heuer and have a lot of money. They've been doing this for such a long time though, like the weird Monacos. I'm sure there's guys out there with like collections of all of the weird.
Yeah, talking watches, weird Monaco dude.
Yeah, at least 10 of them.
But I reckon I quite like this. I think it's very, very smart. I think it's because the spin time has previously been sort of, exclusively Louis Vuitton thing. And I think it's a cool technology. Like it's a cool, and if you've got a big watchmaking group, you might as well let everyone else have a crack at it. And I think it makes thematic sense in this watch. Like it's sort of like the piston story I don't hate. Like I TAG Heuer does have like a legitimate history of doing weird bonkers things, and I think this fits nicely in that narrative. So for me, bit of a win. Yeah. Will I buy one? No. I'm glad they've made it.
Limited edition of 50 pieces, 87,000 US.
Yep.
Honestly, they'll sell out.
They'll sell them to F1 superfans.
F1
people that
nuts
went up to Monaco and got a second tier yacht mooring, and
there you go. Actually, that's reminded me of. Did you see the Inspired Unemployed, the Australians watch? I guess TAG Heuer collaboration thing of
for me, great chat from TAG Heuer Marketing.
Absolutely genius. We'll link it up, but it's basically taking the mickey, as they say, of guys that pull the sleeve up to show the watch off, done in Monaco. It was just absolutely brilliant. I felt very seen, and I think that was a really fun way of,
How do you think the Inspired Unemployed felt about the 7 rounds of approvals that that video
probably
had to go through?
I talked to the people involved, and it just so happened they were sort of nearby when the Monaco Grand Prix was on, and it sort of all came together. I got to respect TAG Heuer for sort of placing that trust in them, because you don't know how it's going to go, but not only that, you don't know how it's going to be received.
I think it was done very well.
It was perfect.
It was the right level of watch.
It was the right level of everything. There are so many brands that would be too scared to do something like that, or would try it and get it wrong. So I respect the I respect the guts to do it. It was funny. I like it. It was entertaining. It was genuinely entertaining, and I respect TAG Heuer for having a sense of humour.
Snaps to TAG Heuer.
Yeah, not taking themselves too seriously.
Anything else that's happening? I think the other sort of less, new watch release news that happened in the world of watches is, of course, Philippe Stern passed away. He was I believe, the father of current boss Terry Stern, and he was actively involved in the business up until the early 2000s.
He was the honorary president, I think, for
but
quite a long time.
Still around, and not
hands on,
calling the shots. So he passed away a little while ago, 1938 to 2026, and I think sort of widely regarded as the person that puts Patek Philippe in its position where it is today. So sunrise, sunset, as they say.
Yeah. Talk to me about Cartier. I missed the Cartier NGV experience, but you had quite some fun there.
Yeah. So the other, if you're in Melbourne, heck, if you're in Australia, head down to the National Gallery of Victoria between now and October the 4th and check out Cartier, the exhibition. Very, very big. So it's around 400 pieces, most of them jewellery and watches, some of them archival stuff. And it's a look at what Cartier has done over the last, couple of hundred years, to a broad retrospective of the brand. There is a bit of a focus on, Australian connections. They've tried to, they've worked with the Cartier collection to pull out some of the sort of the Dame Nellie Melba pieces and some, pieces from Australian opal, which is wild to see, like, 100-year-old opal that's come from Lightning Ridge in a tiara. Like, it's you think
full
about
circle.
Yeah, and I think that sort of local thing with jewellery and important jewels, you think about the stones and the life of that, and it's a really interesting evolution. So the jewellery is incredible. It's phenomenal stuff. That there's that double crocodile necklace that belonged to someone very, very famous, Maria Felix, I think her name is. There's lots of, like, tiaras that have been worn or by royalty, and they've got it's an overwhelming exhibition. I was there sort of for the media preview, and I would have been there for 45 minutes, and I did a bit of a whiz through taking videos and photos, but I will go back again. From the timepiece point of view, they've got some significant mystery clocks, which are very, very cool to see. They've got some other small little sort of timekeeping objets, which, if you're sort of going through, my tip to you is, like, keep an eye out for those, because they're not sort of grouped as thematically as, there's a wall or a room with watches or a little side with watches, but there are some other clock-like bits around and about throughout. But they do have a selection of quite significant timepieces, like the very early tanks, very early crash, all that sort of, very early Banois, those sort of pieces that you all know and recognise. For me, it was a real personal highlight seeing a watch that I think it's an early tank, not a normal. I think it's the first tank Louis Cartier, wow. And it's on a sort of a pale brown strap. I know this watch because in every article I write about the tank, which is many, I've used that same Cartier supplied image of that watch. So it's kind of cool to see the actual watch, there, but really, really interesting as well to see some of the, the original sketches. Like, they've got, Louis Cartier's sketchbook, and there's drawings of Panthers and stuff like
cool.
that.
I'd like to see that.
It's 100% worth it, and I, spend more than 45 minutes there, is my take. It's interesting, and I'll talk about this in a video I'll record as well. Some of the public discourse around it is more varied than, what our watch bubble is used to. There's a lot of sort of reviews sort of about how does something like, Cartier, which is a, publicly listed $1 billion company or whatever, have a place in galleries? Is it art, that old chestnut? And, is this just sort of marketing for something you can buy?
Yeah.
And I have a nuanced take to that, which is yes, but it's always been that way in art. Like,
that's how the arts sort of get funded.
You're thinking Rembrandt's The Night Watch wasn't a bunch of rich dudes, looks maxing in front of Rembrandt. It's the same thing. It's just the fact that this happens to be a more commodified product than fine art in some ways is.
I mean, that's why all of these museums take massive donations.
Yeah,
except
and I think there's a bit of nuance there. You need to look at the craft and the skill involved. I think to sort of have that take undermines the work that goes into these pieces, which is there's that high art, low art. Just because someone's making cutting, jewelry doesn't mean they're any less skilled. And also I think it's worth pointing out that, Cartier doesn't, and I believe this, they have their own collection and they will assist and help, but they're not like, you've got to include the 2026 collections in here. Like that, they work with the institutions and, it obviously helps their cultural cachet, but...
Yeah, they need these companies to help them. Speaking of discourse... Oh, Felix.
What's happening?
I got roasted. I got absolutely roasted by a fellow, I guess, Australian podcaster.
Yes, fellow Melbourneite, the watch regulator online. What are we talking about?
He came for me.
Did he come for you specifically, Andy?
I mean, on the thumbnail, he criticised, the context is we've been talking a bit about Chanel lately, made some videos talking about the Chanel J12, which in my
promotional
opinion,
videos, I will say,
it's a pretty iconic watch. Chanel are doing pretty cool stuff with watches. They're pretty cool as far as ceramic goes. They've got, good investment in, movement manufacturing. And they're fashion brand
They own
first.
your favourite watchmaker's favourite watchmaker.
They own your favourite part of it. Yeah. And they're not, I think my point is they're not just a fashion brand making watches, like they're doing legit watches. And as someone who's been to, Asia quite a few times now, they're very big over there. Like you can't go into a secondhand store like the ones I talked about without having a display full of
J12s.
ceramic Chanels, J12s and otherwise. Pretty much every day out on the street, I was seeing them. And I was taking videos to collate just how much I was seeing the J12 out and about. And just because it's not popular with you and your friends doesn't mean it's not popular, and just because you don't think it's good doesn't mean it's good. But I think the crux of the criticism, I mean, aside from me wearing a bandana and having glasses,
the glasses I thought was a bit of
I don't know,
a bridge too far.
Yeah, well, the way to make it personal was that I said Chanel took 5 years to develop the ceramic blue. That seemed to have been taken as they spent 5 years picking a blue. And there's a big difference between picking a colour and developing a colour, especially for manufacturing, especially
at
for
scale.
ceramic, especially at scale. There's many years involved with sort of getting the blend and the colours right in the first place. You have to tool ceramic. It changes colour when you heat it. It also shrinks. And so, I mean, if you look at the broader watch industry, it takes
5 years isn't a wild length of time.
It takes 2 to 5 years. IWC spent a really long time. They do variants of ceramic that takes lots and lots of time. Ceruleum and Ceratanium. Like that stuff's not quick. And
AP took a long time to work out their blue.
AP took a long time.
They had a blue and then they messed around with it.
Hublot took a long time to get the red ceramic done, and to do a full ceramic red watch was like a really big deal. Rolex really tried to do bicolored ceramic and
still haven't done it.
Well, they've stopped at least selling them because it was so hard to get the Pepsi bezel right. So it's not. I think that my response to that, not that I've commented or anything, but is that there's a big difference between
this is a response,
picking and color. I guess this is a response, and I apologize if anyone thought when I said it took Chanel 5 years to develop this colour.
I mean, it's hard to have nuance in a 2 minute
It was even shorter. It was like a 30-second video.
Social media video.
Yeah.
And I will, to your credit, say you recorded that in Geneva as well.
Yeah, but I don't believe that. And if anyone went out and bought a Chanel J12 thinking that 5 years of hard work and dedication went into the colour swatch, I'll refund you personally. But it is I didn't realise, and it wasn't obvious to me that someone might interpret that as, someone's sitting there just flicking through a colour book for 5 years for full time.
It felt like somewhat of a bad faith take.
Yes. And maybe he's been waiting to have a shot for a while.
At Chanel, yeah.
At Chanel, yeah. But hey, I stand by Chanel are doing,
Honestly, if that watch wasn't 20 grand, I'd buy one.
I've had guys come up to me, I think I don't know if I told this on the podcast, but I was watch shopping at a Rolex boutique, and a guy came up to me and was like, "Oh yeah, follow me on Instagram, follow the podcast. I just bought this Chanel J12 Blue, picked it up as soon as it came out," and I was like, "That's sick, good for you."
For every hater, there's a lover, Andy. I think that's a great place to wrap for the week, unless there's anything else you wish to discuss.
No, if you like OT the podcast and want to chat watches with us, join our Discord. It's where most of the chat's been happening in the month we've had off, so we'll link that up as always. Thank you to everyone that listens and supports the podcast. We'll be back very soon with
someone. We're going to get some guests.
Get some guests lined up.
Yeah.
Catch you, Felix.
See you later, big dog.
Bye.